Salesforce Industries and OmniStudio. So a little bit about me. I've been working as a Salesforce developer for 3 years now. I come from Egypt. I started a community group over there, and I'm a Salesforce MVP, also Golden Hidoo winner. I got 13 Salesforce certifications, including Salesforce OmniStudio and consultant and developer just recently. So our agenda for today is that we will do an introduction about Salesforce Industries, and then we are going to talk a little bit about the tools that come with OmniStudio, Flexcards, Omniscripts, data Raptors, and integration procedures. So let's get started. Salesforce Industries. So how many of you have heard the name Salesforce Industries? Okay, so how many of you know what are Salesforce Industries? You know. You're the CTA. Okay. The CTA knows, but he's okay. So this used to be a company called Vlocity, and Vlocity is a company that specialized in industry-specific solutions, which means that it offered solution for each type of industry. It came like it offers you a solution consisting of a data model, some pre-built processes, CPQ, order management, and also digital commerce. So all of that is provided. So when you think about it, an insurance company data model is different from a telecom company, for example. Different objects, different processes. So that's where Salesforce Industries come in. Salesforce now, when it acquired Vlocity, now we have 12 industry clouds. Some of those already existed in Salesforce, but were enhanced by the Vlocity capabilities, like financial services and health cloud. Some of those are new clouds, like communications cloud, media and entertainment, energy and utilities. So yeah, so now the complete picture is on top of Salesforce. Whatever industry it is, it's on Salesforce. And it's also getting enhanced every day. So that brings us to OmniStudio. OmniStudio is formerly known in Vlocity as the Digital Interaction Platform. The tools that are included in OmniStudio, like think of those as UI and data service. So for the UI, we have Omniscripts and Flexcards. Those are responsible for what you see. And actually, in the backend, when you activate your Flexcard or Omniscript, in the background, it's generating a Lightning Web component. So it's built on Apex and Lightning Web components. And then for the data service, any data manipulation, talking to external systems, we have data Raptors and integration procedures. Those will be our focus for today. The other tools that are included with OmniStudio, we have Interaction Console. This is basically like the Lightning Console. This is where you drag and drop your components and put it on your screen. Omni Analytics, it's how you perform analytics on your Flexcards and Omniscripts, check their performance. IDX Workbench is the tool that you use to deploy those components here. And then Project Explorer is just a way to group your metadata for deployment. So now the first thing we want to talk about is Flexcards. So this is the name, as the name suggests, it's a card. It's displaying information. It has a very nice UI. And most importantly, it's done without any code. So you can produce a very nice UI without writing code in Flexcards. So in terms of the data source for this Flexcard, so it can be multiple data sources, can be from Salesforce or from outside of Salesforce. So when you check this Flexcard over here, it's displaying contact information. So it's displaying the name, the address, some other information about that contact, but it's also displaying the weather at the contact's location. So this is getting it from the weather API, and this other information is getting it from inside of Salesforce. So you can combine multiple data sources to view a Flexcard. As we mentioned, it generates a Lightning Web Component when activated, and also you can add actions to your Flexcard. So as you can see here, you have the actions down there, like updating address, updating contact details, and other actions that you can add as well. You can also add child Flexcards. So it can be a parent Flexcard and inside it a child Flexcard. So now let's go to Salesforce to see this. Okay. So, okay, it's not shifting. Okay, so now, what happened now? Yes. So now this is my org where I have OmniStudio installed. This is the account record page, but I just added the Flexcard here on top. So this Flexcard here is displaying account information, very basic. Primary contact, phone, website, postal code. And also I have this other part of the Flexcard where it's displaying the weather at the location of that account. So it's gathering the postal code, and based on that postal code is doing a call to the weather API and then returning the weather at that location. So if we open the Flexcard designer, this is where the magic happens. So you have your canvas. This is here where you drag and drop your elements, and then you are building your Flexcard. So for this Flexcard, as you can see, I have a lot of options for the elements that I can add. So I have it displayed in 3 separate titles. So I have fields, I have display, and I have input. Input here is kind of like what you have in flows. So you can add a checkbox, currency, date time fields, okay? And then you have the other options for display, like actions, charts, custom Lightning Web Component. So you can actually, like if this is not enough for you, you can build a Lightning Web Component and then add it to your Flexcard. And finally, the child Flexcard is there as well. So you can add child Flexcards as this one. So this one is actually a child Flexcard. So in this panel on the right, we have, when we click on an element, it automatically opens the properties for that element. So if we open this primary contact, so this is actually a text element. We have our title as primary contact. We have the field account primary contact, okay? And we have options for styling. We have options for fonts, colors, everything for the text element. We also have an icon over here. So this is from the Salesforce library, or you can upload your own icon. Now the other panel here is the setup panel. So this is where this is the most important for me as a developer, because this is where I can set up my data source for this Flexcard. So I can see this information is appearing, and when I open for each account, it's different. So how is this happening? It's happening because I have set up my data source. So for this Flexcard, my data source is an integration procedure, and we are yet to talk about integration procedures, but as we look at the options here, we have several options to our Flexcard data source. So it could be a SQL query, it could be Apex, it could be REST API, streaming API, whatever. So I think all the options are covered for the data source. And if we open our child Flexcard, so I click View Card. So something that's also very interesting with the Flexcards is that you can have states. So this state of the Flexcard determines which Flexcard to view. So if we check this account here, our Acme account, it has this picture. But if we go to the Flexcard, it's actually two of them. There's actually two of them. And here we are specifying that if the weather is weather condition returned from that data source is heavy snow, then display this Flexcard. If not, then use this one. So you can use states to kind of like see what conditions that you need to display your elements in. So okay. Now we're going to be talking about Omniscripts. So I just wanted to say that that was not all with Flexcards. There is certainly way too much to do, and I want to show it all to you today, but for the sake of time. Now Omniscripts, so those are also the UI tool, the UI tool that you can use. So for Omniscripts, think of it as a guided process. So when you think of something like that needs a lot of steps to follow, then this is where you can leverage Omniscripts. So for example, think about applying for a visa. So first, you have the first screen entering your information, your name, your email, and then you have the second screen where you upload your passport, upload other useful documents, and then maybe another screen for confirmation, or entering where you are staying, or the time that you are staying in that country. Whatever it is, it can be done in a series of steps. Then you can use Omniscripts. Similar to Flexcards, they also generate a Lightning Web component. You can have actions in your Omniscripts, and it's also viewable on any device or channel. So let's go to Salesforce. And I like to, okay. I like to see things in action. So if we go back here, this is our Flexcard, okay. But in here we had this menu, and this has actions. Now, actions in Flexcards can be like one of multiple things. So if we check, if you go back to the Flexcard, check the menu, edit account, this is my action. And in here, I'm specifying that the action type is Omniscript. But as you can see, it can be any other thing. It can be a flyout, just like a pop-up. It can be a navigation, like, for example, take me to that account record. It can be another card. It can be an event. So multiple options. But my selected option here is Omniscript. And I'm specifying the Omniscript name to call. So if we try this out here, I will click Edit Account. So this is the Omniscript. This actually took me to the Omniscript. I will try to change the information of this account. So I'll just say 0000. So I'm changing the phone and the website, but I'm not allowed to change the account name. And I will hit Next. And then it says your changes has been saved. Then next again, I'll go back here, but because of caching, of course, it's not reflected. It is? Yeah, I was looking here. Okay. So it's basically just a basic Omniscript changing account information. If we go to the Omniscript designer here, we'll see kind of similar to Flexcards. You have your elements here on the right. You can drag and drop the elements. Thing that's different here is that it has steps. So step here means screen. Like this is the first screen, this is the second screen. Anything else, it's like happening in the back end. The user is not seeing it. So when you think about it, this Omniscript in the beginning is calling an integration procedure to get the account details. So based on the account that I'm currently opening in Salesforce, it will get its name, phone, and website. And then it displays it here in this step. And then when the user clicks next, this is where another integration procedure is called that's saving the account details back to Salesforce. And then we have our success screen. And then at the end, if you notice that it navigated me back to the account record. So we have a navigate action navigating me back to the account record that I edited. So looking at the elements and the options here, we have several options. We have data raptors, HTTP action, PDF, line breaks. And the inputs also are similar to what we have in Flexcards. So when we look at this one, for example, and again, when we click on an element, it opens its properties. So this element, this is a text element. And we are specifying here, like, why is it grayed out other than the rest? Because we said that this is read-only, okay? And then when we open this, another element, it's the telephone element, it's marked as required. So we are saying that the user cannot remove the phone. So you can only change the phone number, but you cannot delete the phone number. So this is how I'm controlling it. Again, it's all declarative. And then we have line breaks in between. And also you can also control the width of those elements. So just like what you see is what you get. When you do an edit, you see it reflected automatically on the screen. So this is here divided like Lightning Web Components, 12 column grid. So here my phone element is taking up, I don't know where is the, yeah, it's taking some 4 or 5 columns out of my 12 column width, okay? So, okay, now with data raptors. So data raptors is a way to read and write Salesforce data, also a declarative tool. We have 4 types of data raptors. We have data raptor turbo extract. This is to extract data from a single object, single Salesforce object. And then we have data raptor extract, which can get data from 1 or more Salesforce objects. We have data raptor load. This is inserting data, updating or upserting. You can do that by CSV as well. And then we have data raptor transform. This is where you can do manipulations to your data. So for example, if you receive the data in a certain way and you want it to appear in a different way. So if I'm, for example, calling an external system to get products and they come comma separated, and I don't want it like that, I want them in a list. So this is where I can leverage data raptor transform. So it can be also changing from JSON to XML and vice versa. In those examples that we showed, data raptors were behind all those actions. So I will show them to you, but after we talk about the next one, integration procedures. So integration procedures, think of it as like Apex, but also without writing code. The thing here that you can do is that you can combine multiple actions, okay? You can read and write data from Salesforce and external systems. So data raptors is just with Salesforce, but integration procedures, you can call external systems and you can do integrations using integration procedures. They're declarative server-side processing. This means that You combine your multiple actions in a single server call, okay? So that you are not going back and forth to the server. So less round trips means better performance. And you can act on a large amount of data. So it's good with dealing with large amounts of data. So if we go to Salesforce, again, I have to. So here is my integration procedure. It looks a little bit different and dull, but you can do a lot here. So you can, here are your actions. Like you can also drag and drop actions, deleting. You can call your data Raptor. You can call another integration procedure. You can call even Apex within this integration procedure. And this is the structure. This is where you do your elements in the order that you want them to happen. So in here, I am getting account details. I'm using a data Raptor. So I'm dragging and dropping the data Raptor extract. Okay. So this is the first one. Passing to it the account ID that I need to retrieve the data from. So this is my data Raptor. And then I have a response action. This is specifying what to return back from that integration procedure. Now if we go to the data Raptor, it's very simple. So I'm basically saying, I'm specifying the object. So here I'm specifying that it's account, okay? And I'm saying that get me the account where the ID is equal to the account ID that I received from the integration procedure, okay? And then I'm selecting the fields that I want returned. So I want the name, the phone, and the website. Something that's available with all those tools is preview, and this is very important. This is how you can test what's coming back from your Flexcard, Omniscript, integration procedure, or data Raptor. So here I want to test it. So I'm saying get me the name, phone, website of the account ID where it's equal to this ID, okay? And then hitting execute. It will return this array, okay? It has the name, the website, the phone, and also the ID. So yeah, I wanted to show you this in integration procedures as well. So integration procedure is also taking the same parameter, account ID. So I'm clicking execute, and it should return, but this is a different account. It's returning the name, the website, the phone, and the ID. So when we look at it in terms of data flow, okay, you first have your Flexcard. So this is not always the typical scenario. Like you might have an integration procedure. You might not need it. You might only need the data Raptor. But when you look at it, when you look at the same example that we did, we had our Flexcard at the beginning. In the Flexcard, we passed the account ID to the Omniscript in something called context ID. Context ID here means that the context that the Omniscript is running on. So it could be running on an account, could be running on a case, lead, whatever object it is. And then the Omniscript is calling the integration procedure, again passing the same account ID to the integration procedure. The integration procedure is calling the data Raptor and then retrieving the data from Salesforce. Now there is another trip that we didn't see today, but it's basically like returning the Salesforce data, displaying it back in the Omniscript, and saving it back to Salesforce. So this required the data Raptor load. Because in the first one, we were just extracting the data, but then when the user clicks next, it's saving it back to Salesforce, so it's calling another integration procedure and another data Raptor load. So if you liked what you saw today, you can explore OmniStudio. So OmniStudio is currently available only on industry clouds. But you can study for OmniStudio. So you have Trailhead, you have Vlocity University, but this only has access for if you are working at a consultancy. Apex hours, and then you can go for the OmniStudio certifications. Any questions? Okay. question.
I suppose you can use Flexcards and Omniscripts on the community portal?
Yes, yeah. I forgot to mention they are available inside of Salesforce anywhere, and then you can export them also outside of Salesforce. Yeah. Any other question?
You're saying only within the industries. Is it included within the licenses, or it's an additional license to use on the studio?
Not sure. It's if it's an yeah.
So it's included in some of the industry clouds, like all of the former Vlocity ones, and I think also Health Cloud and Manufacturing Cloud.
Yeah.
My guess is it will be in the other industry clouds as well, but I don't know when or if that's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it used to be sold separately as like a separate package, but I don't think that's.
It seems very similar. I mean, it has a lot of the same things from Flow. Obviously, a lot.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like because it's running Lightning Web, it's much faster than Flow, of course. So, I guess the question, other than you've probably done before, when would you use one over the other?
Well, the suggestion is that if you have an industry cloud, then you use those. If you don't, then you use flows. But they are. I think they're faster. Yeah.
I work on communications cloud projects, and we like exclusively use OmniStudio. We do not use flows except for like edge cases, like logging flow only supports flow. You can't do OmniScript, but for any kind of business process, everything will be OmniScript.
I want to steal the meeting, but just one more question from that is, we started at some point a large number of Lightning Web components that have to be maintained.
You can think of this as like kind of a OmniScript is all declarative. It will get converted to an LWC, but you don't have to worry about the LWC. You deploy the OmniScript metadata, and then it will deploy it as an LWC. You don't have to manage the LWC.
In what format is it? Can we integrate it into a CI process? So is there, I mean, it's not pure metadata API, so I guess they're having something different. Is that something that I can integrate?
Yeah, for deployments, there's IDX Workbench, and there's a whole other story for the